Up next, it's time for Truth or Fake. Charlotte Hughes is here in studio. Charlotte, you're taking us back to our top story this evening, the war in Gaza, specifically those deadly incidents taking place this week on the route to an aid distribution site in the enclave. The White House has criticised the BBC's coverage of one of those incidents. Tell us more.
That's absolutely right, Sharon. This criticism came on Tuesday during a White House briefing when Donald Trump's press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, was asked about reports that Israeli forces opened fire on Palestinians near an aid distribution centre in southern Gaza. In response, Leavitt said the administration was aware of those reports and it was looking into them. She then made a series of accusations against the BBC and its reporting. So let's take a listen to what she had to say.
Fortunately, unlike some in the media, we don't take the word of Hamas with total truth. We like to look into it when they speak. Unlike the BBC, who had multiple headlines, they wrote, Israeli tank kills 26, Israeli tank kills 21, Israeli gunfire kills 31, Red Cross says 21 people were killed in an aid incident, and then, oh wait, they had to correct and take down their entire story, saying we reviewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything.
So some pretty damning allegations there. Leavitt accusing the BBC of taking the word of Hamas, quote, with total truth when reporting on the number of casualties in a shooting near an aid distribution centre on Sunday. We also heard her accusing the BBC of taking down a report after being unable to find evidence for its claims. Now, Leavitt's comments were met with mixed reaction on social media. We have one user here, for instance, very quick to support her, saying that, quote, we prefer facts over rushed narratives. But some other people online were more sceptical of Leavitt's claims. For instance, this person saying that Leavitt, quote, continues to play fast and loose with the facts on Gaza. Sharon.
So, Charlotte, then, what have you been able to establish about Leavitt's claims and how has the BBC responded to those allegations?
So the BBC was swift to reject Leavitt's allegations as false. But before getting into all that, I would like to remind our viewers that the BBC, like France 24, is a public service broadcaster that is impartial and independent. And the BBC is mainly funded through the licence fee paid by UK households. Now, as I say, the corporation, quick to reject Leavitt's accusations on social media. It first addressed her criticism of the changing number of casualties in its coverage. It said this was updated throughout the day with the latest fatality figures as they came in from various sources. These were clearly attributed, it went on to say, from the first figure given by medics through the figure given by Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry to the final statement given by the Red Cross. This updating of figures, the Post underlined, is totally normal practice on any fast-moving news story. Now, the BBC outlined also the accusation of a story being taken down because journalists, in Leavitt's words, could not find evidence of anything. Here, she was actually referring to a separate report by BBC's fact-checking team, BBC Verify. Now, we can see in this post that so here she was referring to a separate report by, as I say, the fact-checking team who were looking into a viral video posted on social media, allegedly linked to Sunday's incident. Now, the BBC, in its response to Leavitt's accusations, said that this separate report concluded the video posted on social media was not linked to the aid distribution centre that it was claiming to show. We can see that conclusion in this post on the BBC website dated the 2nd of June. So the corporation reiterating the footage did not run on its news channels, nor did it inform its reporting. Actually, the BBC's fact-checking team were actively looking into that footage. The Post went on to accuse Leavitt of conflating the two reports, slamming this as completely misleading. Now, finally, the corporation reminded its viewers that international journalists are not currently allowed into Gaza and that it would welcome the support of the White House in its call for immediate access. Now, this was a sentiment echoed by the BBC's international editor, Jeremy Bowen. He accused Leavitt of trying to make a political point with those accusations that we saw earlier on in that video. So, Sharon, a very strong rejection from the corporation of Leavitt's claims as completely false.
Charlotte, thanks so much for taking us through all of that. That's Charlotte Hughes bringing us tonight's Truth or Fake.